WUSA9 Weather Impact Alert is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
Okay, I'm meteorologist Topper Shutt. We have just had word now, 620 advisory. It is now a Cat 4. Winds are 130 miles per hour, gusts to 155. That hasn't changed. Pressure keeps falling at 947. It's about 120 miles west of Tampa. So it's more than likely going to be a Cat 4 when it makes landfall. Remember, it was a high-end Category 3 much of the evening, and now it just jumped to a Cat 4. So it went from 125 to 130 in terms of sustained winds, and now it's a Cat 4. And that's what this is. These are sustained winds, and those are gusts to 155. So where does it go? It's still going to go make landfall probably 9 or 10 o'clock tonight between Apalachicola and Cedar Key. And then it's going to wreak havoc over Georgia. Caitlin has some friends in Georgia, and she's already told them, don't sleep on the second floor tonight. I mean, we're going to see winds 60 miles per hour, well inland, and also heavy rain. So it's moving at a pretty good clip. That's the only good thing about this storm, is that it's not going to sit and really just sort of, sit and rotate off the Big Bend area of Florida. It's going to continue to move very quickly. Goes through Georgia, and then goes back through East Tennessee and then into western Kentucky, and sort of just sits and spins through the weekend. Now, the first area, we have some showers tomorrow. Technically, that's going to be Helene related. And then as it dissipates, becomes a depression, then eventually just extratropical, it's going to move off to the east, and that's going to roll through here like Sunday and Monday, so we have some more rain to worry about in terms of remnants of Helene. In the meantime, look at that defined eye. I mean, this is just a textbook storm in terms of the size and in terms of the shape. Now, these are tornado warnings, and we talk about that. To the right of the storm, that's where you're going to find all the severe weather. And that's why we're kind of concerned about parts of Georgia tonight. So even though this storm is still 150, 120 miles west of Tampa, it's producing tornadoes south of Tampa and south of Sarasota. Now look at this. We already have flood warnings in effect for parts of Apalachicola and the panhandle of Florida. So spaghetti plots. And this is kind of interesting because you'd think they'd be pretty much in lockstep, right? So each line is a computer model. That's really not that great a grouping considering we are hours away from landfall. I mean, I don't know what these guys are thinking. Because, the last few days, it's been very close and grouping very nicely for the landfall. After that, they have a little dissension, but it curves around back into western Kentucky and Tennessee. So that's pretty much normal in terms of how the farther out you get from the storm, the further away the lines are going to be because they're not in lockstep and agreement. Less grouping if you're a dart player. Then look what happens. It will move eastward. And as it does so, it's going to be extratropical, but as it does so, it's going to bring some more showers and rain, and even a few thunderstorms to us on Sunday and Monday. Most models bring it south of us, which keeps all the severe weather to the south, and that would keep us just in some rain and maybe some thunderstorms. But we'll watch the track. If it were to go a little further west and north, we could have some severe weather. It's not going to be the system, obviously, it is now, or the system it is going to be over the weekend, but it will have still some tropical characteristics. All right, so the warnings haven't changed in, I think the last 24 hours. North Carolina, South Carolina border, all the way down and around Florida is a tropical storm warning. And then in red, Tampa up to Apalachicola, that is a hurricane warning. And then a little bit of a tropical storm warning just to the west of that. So that has not changed. Always get a kick out of Lake Okeechobee, also under a tropical storm warning as well. And as this storm moves inland, again, we're going to see winds 50 to 60 miles per hour well inland into Georgia. And some of the winds, even on the Atlantic side in South and North Carolina, pretty impressive too. That's why they have the tropical storm warnings there. Let's talk about winds. Now, this is not a forecast. This is observation. So 52 mile per hour wind, the highest we've seen since midnight in Tampa, 52 mile per hour wind gust at Fort Myers, even 45 in Miami. So far, only a 36 mile per hour wind gust Apalachicola, but we're going to see that pick up as we go through the next 3 hours or so. The big story, though, really seems to be storm surge. So this is a sort of a new product from the National Hurricane Center and NOAA, And it's predictions, a forecast of just, how big that storm surge could be. And that's as the water builds up and as the storm moves ashore. So, south of Tampa to Cape Coral or near Fort Myers could be up to 9 feet. But as you get closer to where the storm's going to make landfall, Cedar Key, Apalachicola, Panama City, this area, magenta here, 12 feet plus. And in fact, Hurricane Center says, you know what? It could be as much as 20 feet, which they call unsurvivable. Yes, most folks have evacuated in this area, and a lot of this area is protected land, but hopefully everyone has heeded that warning. And notice on this side, even though it's on the Atlantic side, you could have a 3-foot storm surge as the water builds up as it tracks off to the west. Now, let's talk about that. Now, this is a forecast, okay, a wind forecast. 7:30, 7:15 tonight, winds gusting to 46 in Orlando. By 11:30 tonight, winds gusting to 55 in Apalachicola and Tallahassee. But what's interesting, and this model does take the storm a little further to the east, it has 60-mile-per-hour winds at Orlando, Daytona Beach, almost 60 at Jacksonville, and already 51-mile-per-hour winds in Savannah, 33 in Atlanta. So that's late tonight, just like 5 hours from now. We get into early tomorrow morning, 5:30, 67-mile-per-hour wind gusts Savannah, and 60 in Charleston, 40 in Atlanta. Now, I think this model has taken the storm a little too far to the east, but that said, you get an idea of how far inland the winds are going to be as it dies out. I mean, it's going to take a minute to kill a Cat 4, right? So by 10:15 tomorrow night, winds are still 55 in Charleston, still 50 in Atlanta. So you couple that with 2, 3, 4, 5 inches of rain, you have some power outages. By 6:15 Friday, winds not too much of a problem anymore along the Gulf Coast, but check this out. This is late Friday night, like just after midnight Saturday, winds gusting to 46 in St. Louis. So as it begins to just sort of sit and die out in western sections of Kentucky and Tennessee. So it's going to have a lot of wind pretty far inland, which is, kind of crazy. Even 6:15 Saturday morning, winds 31 Nashville, 33 St. Louis, 36-mile-per-hour wind gust in Knoxville. And even that will knock down some trees after 4 or 5 inches of rain. So let's talk about hurricane development by month. Is this unusual? No. September is the #1 month statistically for hurricanes to develop. 4% in June, 6% in July. We get cranking in August, 29%. 36%, though, of all hurricanes form in September. And even October, 19%. I think, well, October's kind of cool. The air gets cooler in October, but but water has what we call a high heat capacity. So it takes a lot of energy to heat the water and to cool the water. So even in October, the water's warm enough for tropical development. Okay, rainfall potential. All right, now check this out. This is a little better. Although some of this rain's already fallen in Apalachicola, but an additional 3 inches in Tallahassee. Atlanta had up to 8 inches forecast yesterday, now down to about 3, and 3 in Macon. That's still going to cause some problems. Here are the real problems, okay? Western sections of North Carolina, in the mountains, all right? If Asheville gets 5 inches of rain and Greenville gets 5 inches, that's going to be massive flooding because that terrain doesn't allow rain to percolate into the ground. It's sort of like heavy rain in our friends in West Virginia where it just all runs off. So that's going to be a problem. 4 inches in Nashville, a problem, although they need the rain. And look at that, 5 inches back in western Kentucky. So it's going to also be a flooding issue, as is usually the case when the storm moves ashore. Okay, back to the Saffir-Simpson scale. So we were at 125 just about 40 minutes ago, and now we're at a Category 4 at 130. That goes to 156. It will not exceed a Category 4. No doubt. Wave height, that just is biggest wave height we've seen, 35 feet, about 100 miles west of Tampa. So here's the radar past couple of hours. And again, we're looking at the eye moving northeast. I think it's going to jog a little east before making landfall. You've heard a lot about how big the storm is. Okay, well, it's hard to say, where you want to measure the storm from. I mean, technically, that you could maybe call that part of Helene, but we're going to go from here, some of the outer bands back down. And it's about 400 miles in diameter, which is kind of crazy. So there's the eye, and there are the bands. okay, raking the west coast of Florida and already producing severe weather, okay? This is a tornado warning right now around Punta Gorda, southeast of Sarasota, and heavy bands just offshore now of the Big Bend area. Now for us, okay, we do have a weather impact alert tomorrow for sort of the outer bands of Helene. We're going to say 6 a.m. to midnight. The impact is going to be showers and storms. Not going to rain all day, okay? You need your umbrella, yes. Time for extra time for commutes. I think the evening commute is going to be the worst. And I think some flooding is possible along I-81 tomorrow evening, say between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock. This is tonight, walking the dog. It's dry. It's not very pretty, but it's dry. Some showers tomorrow morning, although not many. Some showers by 9 o'clock, but then by 1 o'clock, see the stuff down to the south. That's going to roll through during the rush hour. So again, allow extra time to get home as we go through the Friday commute. And also, if you have Friday night plans, I think you know to bring them inside by now. So there's our weather impact alert on Friday. Hey, we sandwiched a great day in between Friday and Sunday. 84, sunshine, not bad. But then we have more rain on Sunday, more rain on Monday thanks to Helene, and then showers Tuesday, Wednesday, ending with a gorgeous day on Thursday. Hope to see you tonight at 11. Helene could have made landfall by then as a Cat 4. For now, I'm WUSA9 Meteorologist Topper Shutt.